Sorry, I pushed the button and I thought I was talking. It's been a weird day. Hmm. If we did that, is that better? I hear there's a lot of negative space if we do it that way. Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jared. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. I'm your host. My name is Jared. If you are interested connecting with me outside of this space, don't. I kid. You can find me on Blue Sky at likelyalien.bsky.social. Hope you all have a fantastic Monday. Go kick its ass. And I was reminded this morning this is all by design. This is all exactly happening as intended for us to happen. My disabled ass, yes, sir, Bob. Live chat. All right. Morning, Gabby, Bob, Debs, Kara, Stacy in the chat. My opening piece of content this morning said, "Hey, 4 days. In 4 days, people don't get food stamps. One out of every six Americans. Okay, half of them work a job. So know that corporations pay so little to employees. Walmart, Kroger, morning Danielle, Dina. If in case you can't see the problem here, Cameroon just re-elected a 92-year-old to be their president, Paul Biya, an eighth term. Hmm. Not obsessed with dairy, but apparently this Cornish creamery does some fuck shit for you all to watch and enjoy and see. I'm not even gonna watch the video. I don't even like dairy that much. So have fun. It was hey, second most popular link on World News. Something happened. I want to spend my time this morning while one of you watches that video and says, "Oh my God, what they did to cows was so bad." Okay, yeah, I know. There's the reason I did. Said I ain't even watching that shit. I'm just sharing the link and saying it. Hmm. Hurricane Melissa has intensified to a Category 5. This is where I want to spend my time. I think it's weather.gov, right? National Weather Service. Okay. Here's National Weather Service Prediction Center. Okay. Keep in mind, there's an amendment that says he can't run, so can't be on the ballot. He ain't even making it, dude. Like, come on. One of the things that I want to point out about diplomacy and the way the U.S. Works with other countries. First of all, based obviously, this administration is not doing uh, the United States any favors, right? More importantly, we have always talked about countries like China. We have spoke poor of them. Uh, but what I immediately think about is being taught, like, hey, be careful when you point fingers because you're pointing several fingers at yourself. So as soon as you go to call China corrupt or shady, like, you have to realize, if you're an American, like, the U.S. has been super corrupt and shady. So now, obviously, this regime, it is absolutely that, right? But no more so. I think just dumb. So when you see other countries willing to negotiate with China, for example, and actually have a good relationship with them, don't see it as a slight on that country and a further slight on China. Understand it's our nature. This is the how we fucking do it. Okay. Little hubbub in Mali. Yeah, I need the government shutdown in. Yeah, I need people to get their food stamps. Of course, I think we could end corporate welfare and Citizens United and just give everybody $500 every Friday, and we could do away with food stamps too. We could call it universal income. hmm And I think if everybody just had a couple more $1,000s a month, you know what they would do? They would protect themselves a little better. They'd probably eat a little better. They'd save up their money and eventually have a savings account. And then ultimately, they'd either get an education or find a partner. They'd buy a house. They'd have kids. They'd live out a completely normal life if you just gave them basic income. hmm And that instead of doing away with food stamps, I think we ought to embolden the program. I think everyone, if your base salary is under $75,000, I think you should get $500 every Friday as a thanks for playing. And that number moves north all the time. So they said in a recent study in the United States that a single person has to make $104,000 a year uh, to be happy. I just want you to know, no one's making $104,000 a year. Yeah, they absolutely. This all stems from people without a college degree deciding that our political differences in terms of, like, political party is anything other than team sport, right? Red versus blue, Republican versus Democrat. It's for eons has meant nothing. And only in about the last 10 years has your political party become relevant. Okay? Now, it just so happens that, I have voted almost exclusively Democrat my whole life. And I did it based on policy and how good they are at debate and how much composure they have, because they're going to be public speakers debating idiots in the public eye and defending their decisions that impact all of us, right? Having to look at Bannon. Yeah. Every time I see Steve Bannon, I have to go take a shower because I'm wondering if I got it on me. So, of course, Donald Trump is a fucking coward. So, him seeing people test nuclear weapons is going to get him in his fifis. This is just so endlessly stupid. And also foreshadowing a bit. What do you think happens on November 1st when people's food stamps don't hit? Did you know 40 to 60% of homeless people work a job? Did you know 40 to 60% of homeless people work a job? Half of the people on food stamps work a job. A third of all food stamp dollars go to Kroger and Walmart. And oh, by the way, who pays their employees shit money so they have to potentially be homeless and on food stamps in order to work there? Ding, ding, ding. Kroger and Walmart. So what happens when their staff doesn't show up? On Monday? What happens when their staff doesn't show up? So remember, I think it's all a dog and pony show. Shock and awe. It's not all about results at all. It's about the damage is done. We talked about when he got into office, one of the first things he did was cut USAID, which, by the way, forced starvation onto they say like hundreds of thousands of kids, mostly black children. Just want to point out what cutting USAID really did. It forced the starvation of over 250,000 children. Great job, Donald. Well, it was black kids. He don't give a fuck. Remember, we're all related. If you go back far enough, we're all cousins. So if you dislike someone because of the way they look, like the color of their skin, if you're racist, you're also disliking your cousin. That is a distant cousin to you. Every person that you run into, if they don't look like you, they're just more distant. Hmm. They just they're on another branch on another tree in the same forest. Yeah, yeah. You're gonna want to do mail-in ballot once you do it. So I was having this conversation with my wife yesterday. Taylor and I spent the weekend together. Um, as opposed to going out of town to a funeral, I wasn't invited to. I don't. I don't know when it was. I don't know. I don't even know when she died. Nobody communicates. This is part of the problem. It's not my job to be places that I'm not invited to be. It's not my job to communicate with people who make no attempt to communicate with me. I am not reaching out. I'm not interested, and neither are they. So instead of going to a funeral, my wife and I went on a road trip, and it was great. The end. Okay. Uh, so Evelyn, on that, kids are doing trick or treat already for Halloween, and one of the things, the videos I saw this morning, uh, kids are taking ramen over candy. It's like they know what's up. The kids are already learning survival skills. That sugar won't last you very long, but that ramen, that's 4 meals if you're hungry. hmm As someone who's lived on sustenance, eating fucking beef jerky and ramen and drinking bottled water, I've been there. hmm Yeah, ramen's fucking horrible for you. By the way, it's high sodium. You don't want to eat that shit. Yeah. That's not the point. The point is that the kids are choosing not to fucking starve. That's the point. They're already learning survival skills when faced with a decision, a meal, or a fistful of candy. Better take the meal. Kids are learning. Okay? Dead ass. That's why I realized like I'm gonna grow a garden and give it away. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build something awesome. I just gotta. I'm not a. I'm not an engineer, and I don't have an unlimited budget, so that's my problem. I thought about building a food pantry and setting it out by the road and saying, take or leave. We're all in this together, and just fill it up with like low sodium chicken soup, like something less than $1 a meal, and just try to feed a family of four. You know, I think about shit you need. So I would do like a pack of Ensure, or some protein bars or something. Ramen ain't my tip. This ain't me advocating for fucking ramen, but it's better than your stomach rumbling. Potatoes, ham, and scrambled eggs. He said he didn't like it. Yeah, that's unacceptable. That sounds delicious. But yeah, this regime doesn't want you taking the COVID shots and their boosters, and I found out why, and it's awful, by the way. I'm going to repost the link. The reason that RFK Jr. gets up there and says he don't want you taking COVID shots. Everybody understand the reason why RFK Jr. sits up there and says don't take COVID shots? It fights cancer, which we already knew, like Myrna vaccines. Yeah. Uh, yeah, but you could just fry bacon at a high enough temperature and or fry ham at a high enough temperature becomes bacon. If you fry ham, it just tastes like thick cut bacon. And the thing about sausage is that sausage includes the parts of the animal that you don't normally eat. Donald Trump says Russia's latest nuclear missile tests are not appropriate. So, again, I want to make sure that you understand that the reason that RFK Jr. doesn't want you taking COVID shot is because he's not being paid to say take your COVID shots and boosters. But he's being paid by the people that want you to get cancer so they can sell you treatment. Colombia's left picks Ivan Cepeda as its 2026. Colombian Senator Ivan Cepeda was elected to be the left's 2026 presidential candidate on Sunday after a primary vote by Historic PAC, a leftist coalition. that brought the country's current president, Gustavo Petro, to power. Wow, he won 65 to 30. Yeah. So, hey, look. Yeah. I was thinking about making a box, a food box. It had to be something I can roll out there so I can like fill it up and put it out there. I've also thought about like just filling up a cooler of bottles of water and just kind of setting it outside. And my wife already bought cameras. So if I'm putting a cooler of water outside, I'm just expecting like they're going to use it. Somebody says 200 a week normal. Watch a lady on TikTok asking her church what their plan was to help people in their community. They told her they're just going to stick to what they normally do. France just passed a law making grocery stores give unsold food to the hungry a law. Hmm. Yeah. Yep. You know what I would do if I was a grocer? I would never stop theft. I would just ask the people that are stealing to act in the store, out of the store, into your vehicle and leave as you would as though you were conducting a normal transaction. Don't draw a bunch of attention to yourself. I don't want to encourage the behavior, but whatever makes you need to steal food from a grocery store, you could just fucking have it. You could just fucking take it. It's food. Jesus Christ. Okay? But I don't think that I should be throwing this shit away. I don't think that they should throw away food they don't sell. I think they should. I think part of your business conduct should be giving away your, like, okay, let's say you are a coffee maker. And if I were a coffee maker, coffee's so fucking cheap that I would just rinse out and remake a pot of coffee every hour while I was open. Once that pot sat for 30 minutes, give it away. Anybody need a top up? Like, give that shit away. It's worthless to you. As someone who, like, effectively went to college to learn how to make coffee, uh, once you done made it and it's hot, it ain't fresh after like a half hour. Just give it away. Hmm? Great way to run your business, right? Because people see that you care so much that you remember. Coffee's fresh and hot and great for about a half hour. After that, it's going to start to develop a little bit of a bitter taste, and people can tell, oh, this is sat for a while. So give it away. Just give it away. Hmm? Yep. And you should have that as like an attitude as like a business owner. You made some cookies this morning, and you were still trying to sell them at noon. Interesting. You should be just giving that shit away. Yeah, because you need to sell it while it's hot tomorrow so that you could eventually increase your prices so that you could make more. Hmm? That is the goal of business. Hmm. Yeah, that's a great bare minimum, Mayflower, where food stuffs is being turned into compost. I'm a big fan of compost. It's great. It's better dirt. That's what compost is. France is civilized. They make good decisions. Yeah, I think we're headed that way. I just don't think people are gonna like it. I'm gonna tell my nephew I'm giving his breakfast away. Yeah, that's how I do it. Yep. I was raised by wolves. Like when I say that, like I was raised by woodsmen, People who hunted and fished for sustenance because that's where they're from. They're from places where you hunt and fish for food. So if you don't eat, you probably ain't eating today, and that fish is fresh as fuck. Hmm. Consequently, them people, cancer, because you cannot spend that much time outside. Flights have resumed between India and China. As you can see, large parts of the world are moving on without us. Hell yeah. It's the small things. It's the 45 million Russian Buck Air system that Ukraine has destroyed. Hmm. It's an interesting article about Argentina. That $40 billion bailout hadn't happened yet, and it's contingent. By the way, deregulating the economy and taking a chainsaw to the government is not the answer. As you can see. Oh, I hope everyone has a fantastic day today as dozens of drones hit Moscow and Moscow Oblast. Yes. You know what's fucking dumb? You know what's fucking dumb? Israel talking about people digging holes. I'm just going to be real honest with you. As someone who has done a little bit of forced labor, not forced labor, but hard labor in my life, pardon my French, okay? As someone who's done a little hard labor in their life, no, the fuck they're not digging holes, bro. What the fuck? It's like constant, like Hamas built holes in this hospital. That's Israel trying to sell you them being violent constantly. It's like, who's digging the holes, you idiots? The kids? And then every now and then, like another country sends people to Israel, and I'm like, why? Hell yeah! Ukrainian farmers are returning to their farms after wars left the region, right? Oh, we should make sure we talk about this. So Venezuela is taking the carrier strike group that was sent their way uh, as military provocation. Uh, uh, the U.S. is conducting training exercises with Trinidad and Tobago. So while they have shot some boats and people have died, and it's awful, and I condemn violence of all kinds. Um, Remember that Donald Trump wants to beach those shores and also wants to build a resort there. And also that carrier strike group is conducting training exercises with Trinidad and Tobago. I I don't think they're trying to provoke Argentina by doing so. It just so happens. Okay. A dam near Russia's Belgorod is leaking. Good morning, everybody. The Japanese stock market. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Here's the AP article talking about Hurricane Melissa strengthening. Navy helicopter and fighter jet both go down in the South China Sea. U.S. Navy MH-60R Seahawk went down about 2:45 p.m. local time. 30 minutes later, an FA-18 Super Hornet fighter assigned to the Fighting Redcocks went down in the waters. Both crew members ejected and were safely recovered. Cause of both incidents is under investigation. Damn. Somebody's getting fucking fired. Let's go. This is what I signed up for. Justice's waiting room, right? Explosions shake Moscow at streets as drones spread chaos across Russia's capital. Yes, I have a zit on my face. It hasn't come to a head. This never happens. Scott Bessent says China is going to delay its rare earth rules by a year, right? And they're going to buy U.S. soybeans. Oh yeah, somebody's getting fired. In the same region of the world, in the same ocean, basically. I know it was the South China Sea, but yeah. They said one incident happened at 2:45 and the other one happened at 3:15. Two aircraft went down in like a 30-minute window. I hate this shit. Trump tries to assure all these Asian countries whose entire economies are falling apart. Trump to make concessions in the trade war with China. Trump always chickens out. Lithuania and Belarus are having airspace incidents to the tune of their fourth in a week that I think would have an impact on anyone. Ange. Who's I don't know who Total Hypocrisy is. Sudan's RSF says it captured Al Fashir Army headquarters. A little Reuters link there for you. Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces said on Sunday they captured the army headquarters in the city of Al Fashir, the Sudanese army's last stronghold in the Darfur region in the west of the country. Kurdish rebel group PKK says it's withdrawing its fighters from Turkey as part of a peace effort. War and peace, you say? Remember to morning. Have a fantastic Monday. I'm sharing the show about that time. Let you catch up on the links. But yeah, good morning, everybody. Have a fantastic Monday. JWR is the hashtag. Free Palestine. Slava Ukraine every day. Well, at least somebody's fucking saying it. Yeah, lots of links to catch up on today. One of the things that I think about often, where I'm like, we're blowing everyone else out of the water, is the just sheer volume of content that it's like, hey, I'm not trying to bury you in my opinion. I may talk for long periods, uh, interjecting both my opinion and my life into this show, but not to like sway anyone. If you notice, I just post a news story, read the headline, might read some of the rest of the article, but in no way am I like jamming it down your throat, right? Just telling you what's going on in the world. It's important to stay abreast. You just want to make sure that there aren't any surprises. And in fact, it actually, when there is a surprise, it's genuine because I every morning look at the news from a world perspective, from a national perspective, even a political one, right? Try to make sure we stay up to date. Climate experts in Switzerland, 1.5 degrees Celsius targets out of reach. Okay, I'm just glad they're finally saying it. As someone who's been cognizant of climate change since the 90s, and has watched my whole life, I've watched climate change rear its ugly head over and over and over again. Whole places on Earth that don't normally get that kind of weather have gotten that kind of weather, and it's completely fucked them up. What's worse is living in the United States where whole zip codes in the United States are unlivable now because of tornado or hurricane or flood or fire. Fire! And I guess it was always burning is the way people reacting to this. There was always fire and flood and tornado and hurricane, Jared. As somebody who cares about the fucking math, I feel like hurricanes and tornadoes have gotten stronger over time and bigger. I feel like the droughts have gotten longer. I feel like the temperature it's gotten hotter. And then there are just people like, yeah, it's normal. We basically we didn't try hard enough in school. We weren't smart enough and didn't get fancy enough degrees so that we could be seen as an expert in our field, so we could just shout from the rooftops, "Hey idiots, you know, stop using I don't know, fucking really drove us here. Aerosol. Stop using aerosol." You know what I'm saying? The NATO secretary says Vladimir Putin is running out of money, troops, and ideas. It's not. It's not a fucking hoax. It's not a hoax. You know what I saw yesterday with my own eyeballs when my wife and I drove all over the fucking state of Indiana? Uh, Weathered crops that were just now being pulled, that are too dry to be edible. Is that by design? I don't know. Do you think that 1,000 acre field, instead of being like green corn, it's it's copper? Is that just what it looks like when they pick it? Or was it too dry this summer the corn didn't get enough moisture and instead it dry rotted out. 'Cause that's what it looks like to me. It's what it looks like to me. It looks like a lot of crops grown in the United States aren't sold in the United States. It looks like to me farmers are going to have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and learn to grow food that can be sold locally to drive down your costs of doing business. Maybe start a farmer's market, grow a garden, right? Like I've said, give it away. Do what you can do, right? Stop driving a car that takes gas. Get an electric car. Encourage other people to do that. Put up solar panels. Make yourself less reliant on the system around you. I started gathering rainwater because the climate's drying out. Yeah, too hot, not enough water. Yes. Zelensky said the Ukraine can do this shit for 3 more years right now. They're ready to go to time to fight for their country. Ukraine's gonna hold. Germany destroys 2 power plant cooling towers as part of a nuclear phase out program. I think that Putin and Trump will be long dead by then. See, Russia arrests a Ukrainian biologist for backing curbs on Antarctic krill fishing. Exactly, feed your own country. Yeah. Bread lines. That's where the U.S. is about to be. In the next week. I mean, well, let's just put it like this. I don't think I've said much about this. There are already food lines in Florida. There were already food lines in Florida. It's before November 1st. There were already food lines. U.S. and China agree to a framework of trade deal ahead of Trump-Xi meeting. Yeah. Stacy, my wife and I are able to go out and date and like eat like normal people, and you could tell the economy is real bad because everywhere we go, there ain't nobody there. It's fucking empty. Um, yeah, there are already food lines in Florida. Yep, people that got furloughed. Okay, government employees. Okay. Um, I don't remember what. Oh, but yeah, I've had comments by like the only other people there. Oh, is it y'all's anniversary? Like, no. Why? Oh, you're out eating fancy. You're awful young. Are you a CEO of a company? What? Motherfucker, no. No. But what it is, though, that when I ask how much, and again, I have a job, I'm going to talk about it. Okay, when I ask my clients, how much unsecured debt do you have? Debt that's not tied to an object, right? 10 plus $1,000 in debt. And when I ask how much you paying for that debt, 500 plus dollars a month. Okay. Now understand that the average person is spending more along the lines of $1,000 a month and has more along the lines of about $30,000 in debt. So understand the average client of mine is paying a mortgage payment for credit cards and has 30 plus $1,000 in debt. I don't have that. So $1,000 of my money every month is not just getting blown on interest. So think about, it doesn't really matter what my income level is. There's $1,000 of bullshit money that was just going towards fucking interest that is not happening anymore. And I pay for everything with cash. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck give a dime of your money to people that gamble on your existence while you sleep? Ooh, that was a bar. And too many people that I talk to uh, willingly give their money to the people gambling on your existence while you sleep. All that interest that you pay, it's fueling your nightmare that you're living through. The one you're living through when you're awake. This existence. Hmm. But yeah, we definitely get stared at. Oh, what's the occasion? What? What brings you out? What? Well, I live in Indiana. And you got to remember I live on the county line. So if I go west into Indianapolis, I bet you there's other people that have fucking money. You know what I mean? If I go east, not even that far, you're basically disconnected from the city completely. You're now out in a county, and I think I want to say New Jersey is a lot more population dense than Indianapolis. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Like I have a 2,400 square foot house, three and a half bath, two and a or three and a half, three bedroom, two and a half bath with a two-car garage and a half acre at 174 in 2017. It's pretty late. That's a pretty good price on a 2,400 square foot home on top of a hill. That's insane cheap. Less than 30 minutes from downtown Indianapolis. Yeah, takes 26 minutes to get to Lucas Oil. With and I could drive down my mortgage cost if I fuck with my homeowner's insurance more. We got to remember that when the election happened in November, a lot of people stopped watching the news. Not just the people that lost, right? A lot of people that are Republicans that like didn't vote in this election and didn't vote for Donald Trump, they lost too, you know. And I want to make sure that we talk about on my channel. This is all by design. This is no fucking accident that all of these social safety nets are getting rug pulled. It's not an accident. It's not a oopsie. This is intentional. What this is meant to do is demoralize the surviving population. The objective by ending food stamps and fucking with Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, it is to drive people into despair. It's the billionaire plot. Their goal is to kill the useless. That's who they think. That's what they think of elderly, disabled, poor, women with children that can't work for them. That's what they think of them, is that they're expendable. Remember, Stephen Miller, one of Donald Trump's biggest cocksuckers. Uh, Stephen Miller said he wanted to see 250 million Americans die. I just want to see one die. Know what I mean? Him. That's it. Yep. That's what I think about all these motherfuckers. We will outlive all of them because the hatred kills, and there are busy city Ohio streets. Yeah, that's where I'm from. I was born in Dayton. Born in Dayton, grew up outside of Chicago, and then have spent my entire adult life in Indianapolis, Indiana. Like my wife and I went on our first date downtown Indianapolis. The largest Orthodox church in the world opens its doors in October in Bucharest, Romania. Wonder if Erica Kirk has anything to do with it. By the way, talk about no fucking star power. She must not be saying anything clip worthy. I saw Charlie Kirk's face a lot more when he was alive. She must not be anywhere near him. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Remember, the U.S. is trying to regime change. Cleveland all your life. Love Cleveland. It's beautiful. Two of my favorite cities in the United States that people don't like: Cleveland and Memphis. I like both of them. Because I actually like walked on foot in those cities, went into those businesses for days. Magic the Gathering. Oh shit. Hey, the leopard eating face party is shocked when its members cop to eating face. So, all right, let me explain this. Avigdor Lieberman is like the GOP party leader in Israel. Okay, Israel is in the process of working out a peace deal with Palestine. The leader of the GOP in Israel basically said we need to also ride camels effectively, saying like we need to be able to do that to negotiate with the Palestinian people. And it's seen as offensive as hell. And I can understand how an American would fail to grasp how that comment is not inflammatory. You know how it's inflammatory. It would be difficult for an American to understand that. But if you have absolutely any understanding of like Middle Eastern culture, camels are sacred, and you don't make jokes about those things. Dina asked, Jared, you ever been out west? If you mean in the United States, so been to Vegas, L.A., San Diego, Avi, because my dad was stationed in San Diego, and it's natural to take your child where you were stationed on active duty. And also, my parents owned a condo in Santa Ana in the hills, so my parents would take us there. Parents had a condo in Hawaii. They didn't have a condo in Santa Ana and Hawaii at the same time, so no. But like for a period, they had a condo in Santa Ana until they sold that. But they had it for a few years while I was alive, and then they got a condo in Hawaii, so we'd go to Hawaii. And then when I was in college, I spent about a week in Denver at Colorado Springs, which are two different places, by the way, 2 hours apart, 3 days in each. And then I also went to like Salt Lake City, Utah, and did about a week in Salt Lake snowboarding. And then my wife and I went to Portland, fuck yeah, Oregon, for about a week. That's where we learned how to make coffee. So, and probably not as much as I'd like. I'm sure there's a lot of sightseeing that haven't done in the West. But I've done all the business. You know, you know what I mean? Like, went to Vegas for business, been to LA for business, never been to LA for pleasure, never been to Diego for pleasure, never been to San Fran for just vacay. Um, I can definitely tell you that I have not vacationed like my family vacationed when I was growing up. My parents vacationed annually, heavily. I'm not that way at all. Did you see our battlefields here in Oregon? Yeah, right. That it was crazy, and it wasn't like a heavy protest time frame. This was pre-COVID, but this was probably 2019, 2018 when we went out there. And I remember being in Portland and being like, I thought this was like a dystopian nightmare city. It seemed pretty. Fuck. Yeah, you got to remember people are willfully ignorant. They always have been. They will always be willfully ignorant. When I was growing up, like every teacher that I had recognized me and would frequently pull me aside and be like, "Listen, this person's about to say some fuck shit. Don't jump down their throat. Please, dear God." Cool. Because that teacher's about to call on them. They're about to say some dumb shit. And then if it's a boy, right, there's like a 50-50 chance they're on a sport team with me because I play fucking sports. This idiot is yapping, and I gotta be like, hey, ding dong, Like, get it the fuck right. Otherwise, you're just telling a whole room full of people bullshit. And the teacher had to, like, stop me ahead of time. Don't correct them. Just let them be wrong. I'll fix it. Okay. You know, I don't know if I've ever told anybody this, but one of the reasons that I don't regularly get my wife and try to go places and shit is because I don't know if I've ever told this story out loud. But while I was on active duty, I got invited to vacay with the girls we were friends that were going to college in Wilmington. And the vacay, did I tell this story already? So I got invited on a vacay while I was on active duty. So I think I had a 96 and I took a few days, so it gave me the week. And so we went and got a hotel in like Chapel Hill area, and um, we went to like fair and went to the fair and to sporting events, and there was a barbecue pit challenge or some shit that we went to. And the I know that you're all like, oh, that sounds great. Yeah, the whole premise of the vacay was haunted shit. And I didn't fucking know this until I'm 2 days into this bitch when I suddenly realize these people are all living under a heightened level of fear. I'm bored out of my mind. What is wrong with you? And they're like, oh, this place that we're going is haunted. Ah, fuck. What? Y'all drove like 4 hours? Haunted? And then we would go do the shit, and I would just be like, we're out in the middle of bumfuck Egypt. I took a week off of work. We split a fucking hotel. We have booze in a cooler back at the hotel. I'm sober. This is not going to work for me. So I spent the rest of the time happily getting drunk way too early in the day and then suspending my disbelief and spending the whole day like, oh, this is so scary. Like, what the fuck? And they didn't tell me that that was going to happen. So you got to understand, there's a reason Jared's not real bent on fucking vacay. It's because as an adult, the one fucking week long vacation I went on, I was misled about till we got there doing the shit, and it was not scary. This is stupid. What the fuck is wrong with you people? I took time off of work for this? And then they were like, just get faded and just pretend. Yeah, where yes. Yes. And you got to remember this is 20 fucking years ago, right? So 20 imagine the human brain 20 fucking years ago where people, I mean, in my opinion, people have a way harder time suspending their disbelief now than they did then. At least act scared. Yeah. That's what I did the whole rest of the time was I was just drunk, and instead of legitimately freaking out, because one of the things that I learned in my life, I guess, because this was while I was on active duty. Uh, when you go through like substantial trauma, it desensitizes the fuck out of you. Oh yeah. Oh my god. I'm too busy trying to explain it all. You know what I mean? No, it's not a ghost. This is what really happens. And then, oh my god. Way more scared of rats than ghosts. Yeah, rats will eat your ankle. They'll eat your toes. And these were all adults. These were all adults. All of us were over 21. Yep. Because apparently there are like nine like insanely scary places, all of them in like the North Carolina area. I always will wonder. I will always wonder. You vacate in the right places. I've not had a vacation. I've never. I've My wife and I went to Hogwarts. We've been to Vegas. But I'm talking like a week of your life, plans, stuff you want to do. We haven't been able to really do that because we have six animals. We have four dogs and two cats. But my wife and I have been talking about buying an RV. Eh? Eh? I would love to buy an RV. Well, I really just want an RV. I just want an RV. Have like your house, but it moves. Yeah. But Taylor and I have spent a week in Oregon, in Newberg, and eating local food in Oregon along the coast. Yes, the best coast, the left coast. I love New York. I love the East Coast. I spent a couple years of my life formative on the East Coast. It does not have a thing on the West Coast. Nope. Donald Trump says he is not going to waste his time, but pooping in an RV. Here's what I say about pooping. First of all, first of all, I could literally shit anywhere. When you gotta go. First, second, Haya says if you're gonna spend 100 grand on a house, I for one would want one where I could take it with me anywhere. No, no. I need like I'm gonna need like um um one I don't know. I don't know what I need. I have no idea. I don't know what I need. We took a crash course on the black tank process. I don't know what that is, but it sounds fun. Want one that can fly? No, you don't. You don't know. You don't want to fly because you'll fall. Duh. But like, who cares? They were a bunch of pistols. Three Turkish men have been charged in Israel over plot to smuggle guns from Iran, and it was fucking 25 pistols. Who cares? Jared, who doesn't go on vacation, is gonna RV life it. Fuck yeah. Cause listen, I'm a stoner. I don't know if you know this. If I'm if I'm gonna like go somewhere, you can't hotbox in a hotel room. They're gonna charge you the deposit. I'm not gonna get a fucking what's it called? Airbnb. I don't do that shit. I could just hotbox in my RV. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? I would love to like tailgate at sporting events with an RV and hotbox in my RV and play video games in my RV and then like stop doing that, lock it up, and go to a sporting event. Yes, RV life sounds great, and our dogs can come too. Yeah, I have two cats. They could just chill in the RV. Yeah, autumn is upon us. Yeah, it was 32 degrees in the last few days, so we broke autumn. 40 today when I went to take the dogs out. Hmm. Bam, bam, bam. Fortunately, I don't have like an out an at like a I must have a fucking RV. So what I've decided is like we need to buy our house and own it outright and get an RV. And you can go wherever you want. Hmm. So if you ever, I still can't. 25 pistols. Like who gives a fuck? Anyway, I gotta get off world news. If I were you, I would not fly. Here's why though. They're short air traffic controllers. And you know what's funny is that when I was growing up, my dad is a retired air traffic controller, and I was like, if I can't find something to do, that's what I want to do. So when I went to college and I started in the flight program and like was flying and stuff, and again, it wasn't that I didn't love flight. It's everything that you thought it was and more. Hmm. I'm just a big dude. I was weighing down like one half of the airplane and really was not feeling like this is a job you can grow old doing as a bigger person. Hmm. And then I was going to just graduate with a degree from Purdue in flight and aviation technology and become an air traffic controller. And the FAA went on a hiring freeze. And that hiring freeze extended until I was no longer eligible to become an air traffic controller, even with a veteran's preference. Hmm. I never got selected to go to Oklahoma City. I have hearing problems. I have PTSD. Probably not a great fit anyway. Oh shit. Here's your AP story. Donald J. Trump and this Republican administration, with a Republican led House and Senate and Supreme Court, are going to issue no food stamps. Here's the Guardian article about it, in case you don't fuck with AP. I don't know. There's people out there that are just like, I don't read that rag. Like, okay. A New Jersey officer has been charged with misconduct after prosecutors say he didn't quickly respond to and properly investigate reports of a shooting that turned out to be a double murder. Instead, he stopped at the ATM in a pizzeria. Yep, agree. Stop capitulating to Israel and billionaires. Oh shit. NCAA ordered to pay $18 million to former football player and his wife in concussion lawsuit. Let's go. It's a big old deal. I'm going to read. The NCAA owes a former college football player and his wife $18 million, dollars, a South Carolina jury decided while finding college sports major governing body negligent in failing to warn the player about the long term effects of concussions. Following a civil trial that wrapped up late last week, Orangeburg County jurors awarded $10 million to 68-year-old Robert Gathers, who played at South Carolina State from 77 to 80 as a defensive end. His wife, Deborah, was awarded $8 million, according to a court document. A physician, a physician diagnosed Robert Gathers with dementia several years ago. Can't dress himself or make himself meals, so he can have it. He can have it. He ain't gonna do nothing with it. Let's go to politics. And remember what I say. I say we do away with food stamps and just give everybody $500 every Friday. I agree. CTE is devastating. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I never had concussion, thank God, because I didn't lead with my helmet like a fucking idiot. I never got a concussion playing sports that I recall, until my senior year at regionals wrestling. There was a kid from Vincennes that was ranked third in the state, and he was better than me. Full stop. That motherfucker threw me around. But the problem was, I wrestled against somebody just like that every day in practice. That was bigger than me, and faster than me, and stronger than me, and knew more than me, and threw me the fuck around. And you know what I knew? Is that if you just do the exact correct counter at the exact correct time, you catch a motherfucker. And when he don't know you, and he don't know your moves, and he don't know what you know and shit, you gonna try some dumb shit and slip, and I'm gonna pin your ass. And that's exactly what the fuck happened to the number 3 ranked wrestler in heavyweight. He weighed like 255. I weighed like 219. Hmm? I'll never forget the concussion I sustained when he basically when he slipped, I fell and the top of my head hit his teeth. Hmm. Like I had teeth prints in the top of my head, but I got a concussion, so I could not lift my head up off the mat. It's like Earth was pinning me down. Hmm. Even though I won that match, the next match I lost. I Once I got on my hands and knees, I couldn't get off my hands and knees. That's how bad my concussion was. Hmm. Yep. A lot of guys that I was around didn't want anything to do with me from then on because I'd had a concussion. Mm-hmm. It's fucked up to see your friend fucked up. Mm-hmm. They think you're like fucked up forever. And then obviously 2 years later, I got in that real bad car accident and had to be put in a medically induced coma. They said they didn't find any brain damage. I disagree. I joined the Marine Corps. What do you mean there was no brain damage? Oh yeah. Hmm. I was bad concussion. And I had to wrestle. I You can withdraw, so I had to go out there and wrestle the next round. Fortunately, the guy didn't fuck me up too bad. He didn't like throw me around and shit. But like I said, I couldn't get up. Yeah, I remember just like putting my head on the mat and like fuck, like sucks. I can still like remember having a concussion. That's how bad it was. It fucking sucks. And think about that. I played football fully padded football, organized football from third grade. Wrestled, played basketball, soccer, everything. Played it all. Played sports year round, my whole life. Now I hurt my ankle when I was a freshman in high school, but other than that, healthy as an ox. Hmm? Until my senior year wrestling, like the second to last match. Now keep in mind, got a horrible fucking concussion. Won the match though. We pinned the guy. Yeah, yeah. He fucking wrecked us, but we won. Hmm? We probably knocked a screw loose. In your no shit article of the day, Senator Murphy, Chris Murphy, says that Trump is trying to transition the U.S. into something much closer to a totalitarian state. Yeah, have a great Monday. A few minutes left. Montanans are going after Citizens United. Zeke said basically it was Goku Frieza 17 versus Jiren. Yes. That. And I think that's a good place to stop. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and listen to Etherich. Every morning start the show with War by Edwin Starr and finish with Etherich. And for those of you that are playing McDonald's Monopoly meal, yeah, no fucking shit, Chris. That's what I was saying. Like, they're just like, oh god, he wants to do. Ting! Told you. Told you. Lawmakers float a nationwide basic income experiment that would cover the cost of a two-bedroom apartment. A group of Democratic lawmakers want to test a new kind of socialist safety net, a monthly paycheck provided by the federal government to spend however you want. New Jersey Rep. Bonnie Watson Coleman. No strings attached monthly payment. Told you. Told you! Mm-hmm. Donald Trump wants to defy. I gotta stop. We gotta stop. I could go all day. Donald Trump says that he wants to be president for life. He sucks. He's the worst. The fuck. Eat the rich. And let's check y'all bot for weather.
Thunderstorm warning until.
Jesus. That y'all bot is loud. Okay. It looks like the weather is crazy now. Getting less crazy is what I see. And I just want to point out, okay, if you want to know what kind of world you live in, there are people that pay for a membership to Y'allbot, which is an AI weather robot. And sometimes Y'allbot interacts with those paying members. That's what people pay their hard-earned American dollars for. Mega Jack Shitterelli. I don't even know. I don't even know what's his real name. Is Shitterelli his real name? That sucks. I mean, it's great given the team he's on, but like, you want to go see Adam Sandler tonight? Hey, that's great. Enjoy. I'm trying to catch all the Jesus Christ. Severe thunderstorm warning for Florida. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Point St. Joe. I don't even know what that other fucking town's name is, and it's in the United States. What the fuck is that? Apalachicola. Tate's Hell Wildlife Management Area. Carabel, Florida. Major thunderstorms. I wish it would just back out and show the whole fucking country, but just, God damn it. Who cares about Florida? I'm kidding. I just call him Chitterelli. Chitterelli. There we go. All right, so check it out. Let's start in the west. Freeze warnings: Washington, Oregon, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon. Down into Salt Lake, into Denver's got a bunch of freeze warnings. The actual moisture in the air, though, from Nebraska north into the Dakotas, specifically North Dakota, there is a considerable amount of moisture up into Canada that I'm assuming moves across the state into Minnesota. Southern Illinois down to the Panhandle in Florida. Big storm system gonna absolutely ruin some days. Southern Illinois, Southern Indiana, Kentucky. Eastern Tennessee, Western North Carolina, South Carolina, Northern Georgia, Atlanta, and then across the Panhandle slash South Florida slash South Georgia. Not to mention major fucking hurricane gonna fuck up the Caribbean. We're talking about a Cat 5 by the time it makes landfall. Uh, so we're thinking about all the people that they are not going to show you that are going to die. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about all the people whose names you won't know. Have a good day.